Right, the other one again is, well, it is said you are being allocated more time on the state broadcastings and this more than any other party. Is this correct?
I don't think it is correct. We have also been monitoring this whole thing because we wanted to be treated fairly. And I can say with a certainty that the opposition parties have been given more space, more time than we have been.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Because they say you have some adverts, some songs, and they don't have.
They have adverts, they have songs. You watch Makoni, you watch Tsongirai, they're there.
And welcome to our 2008 harmonized election campaign programs. And in the studio, we have Comrade Nkomo. He is the national chairperson of the ruling party, ZANU-PF. Welcome, Comrade Nkomo.
Thank you.
I'm Happison, and with me is Walter Mfanochia to discuss the relevant matters with Comrade Nkomo. Comrade Nkomo, before we go into some discussions, there have been allegations by other parties that are contesting the 2008 harmonized elections, allegations of the playing field. They say ZANU-PF is making the play field not even. They are not campaigning well because you have not done certain things that would go well with a free and fair elections. And they accuse ZANU-PF of hampering free and fair elections in this 2008 harmonized campaigns.
Well, I don't think they are telling the truth. They are busy campaigning. We meet them as they campaign. They hold rallies as and when they want, and they have never been interfered with, unless there are specific issues that they're talking about.
Yeah, they said, for instance, the composition of ZEC, they say it's been manipulated to suit ZANU-PF.
But ZEC is a Zimbabwean institution made up of Zimbabweans, and we believe that they are doing a good job. But they need the parties concerned to understand the work that they are doing and support them. So if they happen to be members of ZANU-PF, or some of them happen to be members of ZANU-PF, then so be it, because there's Zimbabweans.
This is where they are complaining now. They say because they are aligned to ZANU-PF, and as a result, they don't see their partiality here. Their impartiality. Right?
How else can you constitute a team of commissioners other than appointing them from amongst the Zimbabweans?
Okay, the other allegation is they say the number of polling stations, how they are being distributed is in favor of the ruling party. They say in towns there are fewer polling stations where they think they've got lots of support, and in the rural areas where ZANU-PF thinks they've got a lot of support, they've increased the polling stations.
Well, increasing polling stations in the rural areas is understandable. They are taking care of distances, as opposed to urban centers where distances are not long. I mean, it's just common sense.
Right, the other one again is, well, it is said you are being allocated more time on the state broadcastings and this more than any other party. Is this correct?
I don't think it is correct. We have also been monitoring this whole thing because we wanted to be treated fairly. And I can say with a certainty that the opposition parties have been given more space, more time than we have been.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Because they say you have some adverts, some songs, and they don't have.
They have adverts, they have songs. You watch Makoni, you watch Tsongirai, they're there.
Comrade Nkomo, ZANU-PF has been winning elections since 1980 to date. Some have said and dubbed the 2008 harmonized elections as historical elections, and these pose the greatest threat to ZANU-PF's position in this country.
You know, when ZANU-PF led the struggle, we so led it because excuse me, we wanted to ourselves as Zimbabweans, we wanted to bring about the freedom of association, which we do have in our constitution. And we had never said we would not want any other party to be formed. So we have been winning the elections because, for a start, we have a history of liberating this country. We have a history just now of having acquired and taken back the land from the whites to the blacks. That's an achievement, and this is why ZANU-PF has been winning. These were the objectives of our struggle, and we have remained faithful to the promises that we made during that time, answering or responding to the wishes of the people. We have done very well in education. And most of the surrounding countries within the SADC are poaching our manpower, the professionals that we produce. We've increased the number of universities. We've increased the number of secondary schools. We've done a lot of work. Just now we're busy empowering the people, because we now have the land, we're giving them the land. We're now empowering them, building their capacities to produce more on the land so they can be part and parcel of the development of this country.
Some have argued that ZANU-PF is using the mechanization programs to campaign. We just saw phase 3 coinciding with the 2008 campaigns. How do you respond to such sentiments?
That is not correct. Because there was going to be an election, we were not going to halt our programs that we had planned over the years. Phase 1 was way before the election campaigns, and so was phase 2. Now, this is a process, a program of trying to build the capacity of our people. We could not wait until after the elections. We have to do it now. The rains come and rains go, and so our people should be helped, assisted to work on the land, and they should be empowered to work on the land.
Yeah, but the coincidence here is what they're complaining about. When the president goes to the rallies, he leaves buses there, and they are taking that as vote buying. Are you not thinking that that is vote buying?
That is not vote buying. We are fighting against this tendency of blatant price hikes, bus fare hikes, in order to respond to the needs of our people. People are not mobile because buses have gone beyond what they can afford. And so we have to do something. We have to be seen to be doing something.
Well, yes, Comrade, there is the feeling that the coming in of Simba Makoni has unsettled ZANU-PF, and ZANU-PF is now panicking. Is that correct?
Well, that is not correct. He has not made any difference in ZANU-PF. Those who are adult enough, who have been around a bit, will know how ZANU-PF conducts its elections. And over the years, the intensity that we employ in campaigning, in our campaigns, it's got nothing to do with Simba Makoni.
Well, he says, he tried to introduce change from within, and he was blocked all over, and he still claims again that there is going to be a major realignment of forces from within ZANU-PF and from the Politburo.
He has left ZANU-PF, and he cannot tell us what to do in ZANU-PF and how to do it. In fact, he has misled a lot of people in saying that there are a lot of big fish who are going to leave ZANU-PF. And the other day he was peddling a rumor that wait until the 23rd, you will see what is happening, and nothing has happened. Simba Makoni submitted his wish to his chairman, the chairman there, his then chairman, Chugudi, wanting to stand for a constituency in Manicaland. He could not, he was unable to muster the number of votes to enable him to qualify through the process of primaries. What was he going in for? He didn't know it was the ZANU-PF. Simba Makoni was a member of the Politburo, and these matters were discussed in the Politburo. And the Politburo agreed.
Including his wish to become president?
No, he never went. I'm going to come to that point. We then proceeded to the Central Committee. He was a member of the Central Committee, and he was there when it was discussed. He was there at the Extraordinary Congress, where a resolution was taken by 10,000 people. Even he was there. And after that, he waited until 2 days before the primaries to say you wanted to be president. After it failed to muster the figures that were required for him to qualify to stand for a constituency in Manicaland. So, right through, he has not been telling anybody the truth.
Okay. There are serious challenges on the ground, Comrade Nkomo, and it is public knowledge that Zimbabwe is under sanctions. And we have inflation soaring to the figures of 100,000 and above. There are also difficulties in getting some basic commodities, shortages of fuel, amongst other challenges on the ground. How does ZANU-PF propose to move forward and overcome some of these challenges head on?
I have to say that these challenges were brought about by sanctions. And the MDC are known very well of having campaigned for the imposition of sanctions. And the British Prime Minister then, Tony Blair, confirmed that he was working with this MDC. So we have had these problems before. Even as we were fighting during the war, problems of our detractors creating problems for us, challenges for us. But because of our commitment to liberate ourselves, we won, we triumphed. And here we remain committed to ensuring that the economy is going to turn around.
Yeah, but Comrade Nkomo, they say sanctions are there not because of any policies, but because ZANU-PF has mismanaged the economy for the last 20-something years.
Sanctions are there because the British did not want us to repossess our land. That is why sanctions were imposed against us. But I'm saying this is not the first time we're meeting these problems. They were in league with the illegal regime of Smith here, as we were fighting. They refused to dislodge him, even after he rebelled. And now they're still with their kith and kin. And so we will work to ensure that Zimbabweans survive once again these challenges by the Western countries. Our Look East policy, for instance, is bearing fruit. We're now getting more inflows of foreign currency. We're now able to import some equipment. Specifically, we are focusing on the empowerment of our people, because they are our target.
Is ZANU-PF making any move to talk to the other countries who would be willing to trade with them? Because the people argue that the Look East policy is half-hearted. It's not the full global. We are living in a global village. So we should be trading with anybody that comes around and not looking at the color of their dollar.
We are talking to anybody who is prepared to talk to us or discuss matters with us. Even British companies based here do trade with some British institutions. But you know what position George Bush has taken? To even refuse any American company to trade with Zimbabwe. But even as they do so, don't we get tourists coming from America? Don't we get tourists coming from Europe? We do. So over time, they will see that it does not help. It does not help them or their cause and I'm sure that we will triumph soon.
Some have also argued, still on economic issues, Comrade Nkomo, that there have been economic blueprints for the past 10 years, and yet inflation keeps rising. How does ZANU-PF intend to nip this number one enemy in the bud?
Well, we want, amongst other things, we want to bring discipline in the business community, because that's where the whole the whole issue lies. There is a lot of indiscipline.
But this is because of wrong policies by ZANU-PF.
What are those wrong policies? Is ZANU-PF saying don't trade? Is ZANU-PF saying don't put up factories? I'm not saying so. Is ZANU-PF saying increase your prices every day? The opposite is the truth.
The issue of a brain drain, which you touched on a little earlier on in the interview, is a thorny and a big challenge to Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe, we boast of highest literacy rate, second to Tunisia, but we keep training for other countries. Now, this is an issue which must be addressed, and how does ZANU-PF intend to retain and attract those who have left the country?
Well, one of the measures that we are taking is to improve on the conditions of service, especially for our professionals. And you know that we are currently paying some medical staff in Forex, which is to enable them to survive, barely survive for that matter, because of this hyperinflation. We are also taking measures to improve on the equipment in the hospitals, for instance. And tomorrow we will be commissioning some of the equipment that has been imported to take care of the health sector, which has been going through difficulties.
This is where they call you are campaigning using this equipment. Won't you think such an interpretation would come?
Let it come, but we're not going to allow a situation a situation where patients are not attended to because we have the equipment and we're not going to distribute it now. It's a process. This whole thing is a process. Started many years ago. It didn't start yesterday as we were going to have an election. We've been trying to put together a fund to address all these areas that require our attention.
Some beneficiaries who were meant to benefit from operation after the Operation Mrambatrina and then came on Hlalani Kuhle. Some people have not benefited who lost their stores, their houses during that period. Is the government still going ahead to make sure that these people are catered for?
The government is going ahead with that process of providing them accommodation at affordable levels. But of course, there is the problem of scarcity of resources. There are too many demanding areas, and we can only attend to a few at a time. But over time, we are sure that we will overcome all these problems.
You spoke of paying some medical staff as a form of retaining their skills in foreign currency. Is this likely to spread to other sectors?
Well, we keep addressing the needs on a sector-by-sector basis. But obviously, you will still have some people living for greener pastures everywhere or greener pastures elsewhere. But we are hoping also that as we train our people, we will produce enough of these professionals so that those who go out could well be an asset for us because they'll be earning in foreign currency. You know, what you need to do is to generate a sense of patriotism in the minds of all of us.
And move on to farming. Things, the mechanization programs, we're now on phase 3, and some farmers are busy on their farms and are trying to produce. Now, there have been allegations of some farmers who are selling the implements they are given, who are letting out or leasing out the equipment like tractors and combined harvesters, which have been distributed by the government. How do you intend to deal with this challenge?
Fortunately, those are not in the majority, so they can be dealt with quite easily. if someone benefited when he was not supposed to benefit, we can always recover and give it to someone who qualifies, who can utilize it in the manner that we intended it should be utilized.
So, Comrade Nkomo, let's talk about shortages. There are shortages of commodity, basic commodities everywhere, and you have presided over these shortages for a long time. What then makes you think you can correct the situation when you have so far failed to correct the situation as a party and a government?
We have not failed to correct the situation. On the contrary, we have succeeded in dealing with a very difficult situation where we are confronted with sanctions by the Western countries. We talked earlier on about trading with them. You cannot trade with them when they don't want to trade with you. So we are empowering our people, like I said, and our economy is based on agriculture, in the agricultural sector, and we are going to have this situation improve. Like I'm saying, everybody's going to China, for instance. The Americans are going to China. Western companies are setting up plants in China. Why shouldn't we deal with the Chinese in the same manner as they're dealing with the Chinese? Why can't we deal with India? Why can't we deal with other countries where the population is large enough to ensure that we overcome these problems? So a lot of measures, a lot of things are being done in consultation, of course, in this case with the business.
Yes, but there is also this element of corruption. At one time it was said the most corrupt members are from within ZANU-PF and from the echelons of ZANU-PF. Is this correct?
How was that measured?
I don't know, because we heard this, even at the Congress it was said by some people that, the main culprits are sitting here with us.
Sometimes these are just empty statements, passing out blame. Maybe the person who speaks louder is the most corrupt person himself. So let's deal with these matters very carefully and not peddle rumors and passing out the blame. We should all become patriotic and work for the good of the country. That's the message we are preaching around. We have set up a commission to examine these areas, identify them, and how it is being done with a view to correcting the wrongs that are being done.
But this commission has been accused and is being viewed as a toothless commission. It hasn't arrested any single person since it was formed.
I'm sure you'll appreciate that after appointment, they wouldn't just walk into a thicket and start picking pieces and pieces. They had to study these things.
ZANU-PF Nkomo has been dubbed by analysts and some people who have a different opinion as an intolerant party that cannot stand any opposing views and perspectives. How do you respond to such sentiments?
That you raise your fists with hush and smash everybody that opposes you?
We have come a long way in the fight for our struggle, for our freedom, for our sovereignty. We've come a long way through difficult times. And anybody who thinks that we are going to adopt his or him a way of doing things is daydreaming. We are going to do it as ZANU-PF would like to do it. Now, we are very tolerant, very, very tolerant. In fact, even more tolerant than even these parties that are blaming us for that. How do you imagine can you imagine a situation where you will get someone saying, vote for me, and if I win, and when I win, I'm going to take the land that was taken from the whites and give it back to the whites. In a situation where a war was fought, where they themselves, end of the 19th century, forcibly took the land away from us. We were not compensated. We've had to fight for years to try and reclaim that which is ours. Go to, I was telling people out there, you go to Genesis 1 if you're a Christian. Go to Genesis 1, verse 26 and 27. Where after God created all other things by word of mouth, he said, let us make a man in our own image. He didn't say let's make a black man in our image. He didn't say let's make a white man. He didn't say let's make an Indian in our own image. It was man in our own image. Verse 27, then he says, I'll give you domain over all these creatures and the resources. And we are exercise that domain over our creatures, over our resources in this country, so that we are part of the governance of this earth on which we were created. So we are very tolerant, but we don't want to be taken too far.
As tolerant as you say, Comrade Nkomo, there have also been reports of factions within ZANU-PF itself, cracks, and that the top leadership is trying hard to pepper the cracks, but actually inside the party is rotting.
The party has not split. If there are any differences in the process of discussing issues, those must not be seen as divisions. It's just that there is freedom of expression. You can express yourself, give a contrary view, but that's not a split. In fact, that's the proof that ZANU-PF is a vibrant party, that we can discuss these matters, and discuss these matters, agree on them. Sometimes you will not agree, but we keep going.
Would you say ZANU-PF is as strong as it was in the early 90s?
I think it's getting stronger.
And what's making ZANU-PF stronger this time?
Right, because we have delivered, or we continue to deliver what we promised to deliver. And people see these things, and they appreciate these things. But also, don't forget, there are kids who were born after independence who are today adults. And so ZANU-PF has absorbed all these people. Some of them have no experience at all as to what happened yesterday. And so they're coming up with no ideas at all. Except that they also now want to demand their rights or what they would like to be given. So, and ZANU-PF 90 is a mama's party.
Yes, but you say there are a lot of young men. These young men are complaining that they are unemployed. Unemployment has risen to unprecedented levels. How are you now going to deal with it?
The levels could not be precedented because the population was not this big, even at independence. But we also inherited a country that had undergone sanctions. It was under siege for 15 years. And to undo all those things and begin to implement policies that are going to yield jobs will obviously take a lot of time. But if we didn't have, again, once we didn't have these sanctions, we would have gone over this way back. But I'm satisfied that with our emphasis on agriculture today and the mining, we're going to see the creation of more.
Now, on the health sector, you are saying, well, you might be distributing goods or something, but why is it that we rely on foreign medicines all the time and there is no clear policy on local medicine? Where we had Zinata, we had all these people were not encouraged over the years to come up with some medication that could be even exported to other countries, but we keep on wanting to import.
Well, I wish I were I'll be able to tell you how we feel if I was, but I'm not. However, I'm pleased to say that we have not said we ban them. They can do what they want. They can be cleared if they want to be cleared.
But they need support.
They need support, yes. But to support them, they need to come forward and present what they think they can present. And I think our minister, current Minister of Health, is going out of his way to involve them in some of these activities, so that it is to generate that interest out of it.
Okay, Comrade Nkomo, your last words to the electorate.
Well,
in brief.
In brief, I want to remind the electorate that this election is about governance. This election is about the defense of our gains. This election is about the defense of our sovereignty. And this election is about moving forward with our original agenda of empowering our people. And so we would expect that you will vote for us, because we have proved to you that we have the capacity, even in the face of sanctions, we have the capacity to take this country forward.
Thank you. That was Comrade John Nkomo. He is the National Chairman of the ruling party, ZANU-PF. Viewers, the countdown to the elections has begun. The choice is yours.